Mr. White? Oh, ready in line. Sorry. Mr. Coghill?
Here.
Mr. Copeland?
Here.
Mr. King?
Here.
Commissioner Powell? And Commissioner Reddick? Here. We have a quorum. Thank you. Do we have any public comments?
Yes, Ms. Carter that to make a comment.
Good afternoon, board. Thank you for allowing me to come up with questions. Can you come up with people?
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you for allowing me to comment. I appreciate it, and I hope all is well. And I have a few questions just regarding the housing authority here. What programs are on hold as far as the federal programs? Is Section 8 affected? The Section 8 program, the project-based voucher program. I understand the Ross program. What other, are they affected, and are there others?
So we don't operate for Craven County. New Bern Housing Authority doesn't operate the Housing Trust Voucher Program that is operated by Twin Rivers Opportunities. So that would be a question for them. As of right now for us, from an operating standpoint, none of our funding has been affected from a direct funding standpoint. Now, you brought up the Ross program. The Ross program is a grant funded program as it is under any administration. That current grant runs out at the end of May. We have applied for additional funds to continue that program. Right now, Congress or HUD has not made any awards on those grants. So the current grant will sunset at the end of May, and then we'll go from there. But we did reapply for those funds. We're just waiting to hear from HUD.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
And the Twin Rivers Opportunities, I understand that they're a different entity,
Yes.
but how is that going to affect your programs?
So it really doesn't affect us in the sense of when you talked about the project-based vouchers or the vouchers from that standpoint. Whenever we move towards our continuing what we're doing over the next week, as we move towards our master plan, as we begin to do the demolition at Trent Court, we will get what is called tenant protection vouchers for those individuals. That is an automatic that when we apply for the demo dispo, we're at the same time, we'll be applying for those tenant protection vouchers. So generally speaking, now again, things may happen, but in the past, whenever you get an award for demo dispo, you simultaneously ask for those replacement tenant protection vouchers, and they're typically granted. So we don't see or expect any interruption as we move forward currently as it stands, but I can't say what will or won't do, but generally speaking, that's generally how it goes.
From what you understand?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. And well, there's two more.
Okay.
What qualifies as a sundry expense?
Yeah, so sundry, and Shay, you want to kind of talk to that a little bit, but sundry expenses are kind of those miscellaneous expenses that really doesn't necessarily fall specifically under a particular category. We used to say miscellaneous, so sundry is kind of your miscellaneous. So they're kind of a one-off type of expenses that we don't generally have all the time, but so we kind of lump those in there. And then if you continue to go down that road and see where those become repeat, then we'll find a particular category for those to go in. But generally is, you know, some type of office expense, or we may send somebody to a not a training, but if a child was involved in some type of activity and the board voted to support that, then it kind of goes in sundry expenses, miscellaneous. So it's those kinds of things. It's not a specific category, so we kind of throw those items in there.
Thank you. And one last one, the New Bern Towers, I understand the envelope was compromised and it went through inspection in, I don't know, early spring.
Yes.
What is the progress and the update on that. And
Yeah. So currently what I'm doing and what we're going through with our architectural firm, that's a good question. What we're going back and doing now is beginning to look at, to do a P&A, fiscal needs assessment of the building. The architect is working to identify, those things, because what we don't want to do is, I mean, that's going to probably be a pretty expensive endeavor. And so what we are getting done is getting architects, structural engineers, civil engineers, other engineers all involved to do a complete PCNA of the building. So that way we can be able to come back to the board and say, here's realistically all of the issues that exist in that building, because I don't want to piecemeal it. So we know that what we're doing is if in a particular apartment is compromised, we're moving that tenant into a unit that is not having some of those issues, but naturally, the seals around there, the P traps, all of those kinds of things. We're analyzing the entire building at this point, so we can make a full assessment of what's wrong.
And the houses on what, Bellamy?
I'm sorry.
We will make sure that they get these, and Agape did a great job of working with the designers to come up with this plaque, and so just want to thank her for the work on this. Totally great.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. And next, we will have our approval of the minutes. Hopefully, everyone is taking the time to look over our minutes from our last meeting.
I'll make a motion that we adopt the minutes.
Second.
Anyone have any questions? All in favor? Aye. Are there any opposed? Motion carries to accept the minutes as printed. Okay. What's next? All right, financial report.
Jay, you're on.
Yes, I'm on.
Okay.
Okay. First up, we have the balance sheet. Does anybody have any questions pertaining to the balance sheet? Okay. The next report is the Ross income statement. Does anyone have any questions pertaining to the Ross income statement? Okay. The next statement is
And again, just a bit of the full board, we talked a little bit about it in the finance committee, but if ever you all see a item that has a variance that's pretty large and you have a question, we have the support documentation that we can present or provide to you at the meeting, just in case you have any particular question.
And then this is the Trent Court income statement. Does anyone have any questions on the Trent Court income statement? Okay. The next report is the New Bern Towers income statement. Does anyone have any questions on the New Bern Towers income statement? Okay. The next report is the cash lead sheet. Does anyone have any questions on the cash lead sheet? Okay. The next report is the grant summary. Does anyone have any questions on the grant summary?
And as I mentioned, to the finance committee as well, we have the 5-year public hearing next Monday, as well as the public hearing for the annual plan. And at the end of that, we will have a special call board meeting. You all approve both those plans after that public hearing next Monday. You will submit that information to HUD. And so hopefully by our June grant statement, you will see the addition of the 2024 funds available from capital funds and potentially the 2025.
And then the last report is the investment statement. Does anyone have any questions on the investment statement? Okay. And that is the last report of the finance packet.
Thank you, Shay. I'll entertain a motion to accept the finance report as presented. Second, any questions? All in favor?
Hi.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. Next on the agenda is the executive director's report.
All right, I got the best part of the day, because I don't have to talk today at all. I'm gonna let Megan is going to give an update on what we're gonna be doing all week long. And Megan is with UDA and CBR are our partners that's helping us to do the master plan. And I'll turn it over to you, Megan.
Thank you, Reggie, and thank you for allowing us to come today and present. I'm going to share my screen. Okay, excellent. So what we're going to do today is give you an update on the process. We'd like to introduce you to HRI Community since here this afternoon, I almost said morning, who will be the development partner, give you some needs assessment results from the Trent Court households, and then talk about what's going to happen this workshop week. So everyone's aware, we're doing really two things today. We're updating the Choice Neighborhood Plan from 2016 and making sure it's fresh and implementable and competitive for any future grant applications that come out. We are also coming up with an implementable plan so that FEMA can get comfortable with that, which will unlock a lot of the disaster recovery money needed to revitalize the site. And not only are we looking at the Trent Court neighborhood, but we're looking at the greater Five Points neighborhood. And just taking an assessment of what has been done, what hasn't been done, what are the neighborhood needs today, and thinking about the next 8 years of investment in the broader neighborhood. So everyone's very well aware, 218 units to be replaced and 110 target households. We're going to learn a lot more about those 110 households today. And this process started back in October. We were here with you all in November, did a lot of listening sessions and had really excellent participation with partners, neighborhood housing, and people partners, as well as the Trent Court residents. We had a packed room and we had a broader neighborhood meeting as well. So we're in the second step right now, which is to refine the plan based on everything that we heard in that first step. And then April, May, and June, we'll be putting all of that into an updated document so that we're all ready to go with any funding applications that come out and to share the plan with FEMA and others. So I'm gonna let Josh go ahead and introduce himself here.
Good afternoon, board members. Nice to be with you all. I'm Josh Powell. I'm president of HRI Communities. We're an Orleans-based national firm. We design, develop, own, and operate apartments. The majority of them are mixed income, and we believe in mixed income apartments as a way to provide housing for an array of household needs, all together in good areas that are walkable and close to jobs. We have experience in working in historic neighborhoods and on historic buildings. HRI stands for Historic Restoration Incorporated. And we also have a lot of experience working in areas that are recovering from natural disasters. In Louisiana, we get more than our fair share, and we are the state of Louisiana's biggest partner in using disaster recovery fund to rebuild ways that are more resilient and smarter. So we're cannot be happier to be on the team, and we are good listeners. So as we go through this process, we're excited to learn more about the community's needs and desires for Trentport.
Will you be here all week?
We lead Wednesday, so prepare for the resident meeting.
The other thing that I think is important to know, with the partnership, as we went through the scoring system with the committee and evaluation, and HRI came out on top. They are completely a vertically integrated firm. So not only do they do from a development standpoint, but they also, besides us working with our own architects or Megan and the CBR team, but they have their own in-house architectural firm. So they're used to, again, as Shad said, they're used to working on these type of projects, but they have a architectural firm that's already in-house. They also have a construction firm that's in-house. So when we look at cost containment, as we look at redevelopment, one of the nice things about that is we, from an outsourcing standpoint, that's where a lot of our costs comes in. But being able to have a development partner that has a lot of that in-house is going to enable us to be able to contain our costs as we develop plans for the future. So we're excited to have you all as part of the team that you all approved last month, board, for us to continue negotiations with the NDA, which is the Master Development Agreement. We're in the throes of that, but we wanted, they were excited about moving forward. So even though we were working through the NDA, they're here to participate this week in all the planning activities. And so again, thank you all for being on board and being in town this week.
Thank you. Lucky to have you.
So back in November, we had a really excellent week of meetings. We met with the residents, we met with the broader community, and we met with partners. And I wanted to give just a little snapshot of what we heard, especially from the neighborhood housing and people task forces. First of all, excellent participation from the partners. We just learned that there's a wealth of resources in New Bern for a city our size, and that really bodes well to transforming this neighborhood and making sure that we get the resources here that the residents deserve. Transportation, connectivity, sidewalks, these are things that we hear as challenges and needs in a lot of neighborhoods like Greater Five Points, but they're things that we have the right partners at the table to talk about. There's a desire to have retail that honors the history of the neighborhood, connecting residents to resources that are there. Your city stakeholders and departments are very engaged. They're, showing up to help us work through all of the technical issues on the site, fire and cleaning, public works, streets, all of those things. And we had a really good session with local businesses and listened to their needs and concerns about focusing on investment in Greater Five Points, understanding what they need and the types of uses that they would like to see in the neighborhood so that their businesses can continue to grow. And then with the residents, we do an exercise of having them put green dots on the best places and red dots on the problem places and blue dots where they have dreams for something in the future. And it may be a little bit hard to see, but in this case, almost all of the green dots are along Vander Morgan Park. I mean, the residents really love this location. They love being by the water. The fact that the housing is affordable, and in the future, the rent structure stays exactly the same. So as it's redeveloped, brand new housing, but they pay the same amount, maximum amount in rent based on their income. The people are wonderful. It's relatively quiet. There's churches and childhood development centers. There's the Omega Center and community gardens in the broader neighborhood. So in general, location is something that's quite beloved to the Trentport residents, and they want to make sure that the affordable housing comes back to the waterfront. In terms of the problem areas, those red dots are much more in the center of the development. And we heard about speeding on Walt Bellamy Drive, so safety. We heard about the site being poorly lit, feeling dark at night. The lack of, the Head Start was on site and is no longer, so that loss of childcare and early childhood education. Obviously flooding, came up and flooding in the green space, which is much lower than other parts of the site. The lack of the grocery store, we know Piggly Wiggly recently closed. That is where most residents were going. And in the broader neighborhood, you do have some retail buildings that are vacant or underutilized that could come back as that historic African-American and Black commercial center. And then when we asked folks to dream, the green dots are largely up here in the corner where the childhood center was and along the waterfront again. People said, let's bring that early childhood education back on site. Let's think about community gardens, amenities, fresh food market or grocery that's nearby. Inside the unit, bigger kitchens with modern appliances came up often, as did in-unit laundry. Fitness center, children's play areas, internet cafe, dog park, all of the types of amenities that we all would want in a home that we're choosing. And since it will be mixed income, you know, those amenities would be shared amongst all residents and all units. Dedicated parking, there is enough parking, but maybe not in the right location or not in a place where residents feel comfortable and safe. After school programs and the medical clinic. So again, all of the things that you would find in a neighborhood that anyone would choose to live in. So the Housing Authority has conducted a needs assessment survey, a deep dive for those 102 families that are on site. These were the original 6 visions from the 2016 plan, and we think those still apply. You have empower the community, invest in the children, improve the neighborhood connections, realize the economic potential, expand housing opportunities, and encourage community wellness. Those really still rung true to people in November when we talked. So we want to continue to build on those. And the household needs assessment, I mean, it really covered everything from basic family demographics all the way to health and wellness, transportation, food, security, all of those things. And we do have the results. The Housing Authority was able to survey all 102 residents, so 100% completion rate, which is incredible.
I think with the 50% up.
I don't think I've worked on a plan like this that got to 100%, so it's something to be applauded for sure. And I'm gonna highlight just a couple of the results, but the reason that we bring these back to the board, to the residents, to the partners, is just to say, you know, what surprised us and what did we learn that's new? Because these results really tell us how we need to serve the residents and what partners need to be at the table. So 102 households, 247 people living there. About 37% are 2-person households. 73% of the heads of households are female, so mostly female-led households, and 62% have a high school diploma. So just a couple of quick stats there. On the jobs and employment income side of things, you have a good number of people who are either part-time employed or unemployed looking for work. So that is the blue here, 24%, and the red there. So if I can do quick math, what is that? 40% of the folks there who could be more fully employed. And I think that's a good sign for connecting the residents to job opportunities and training. The reasons that they pointed to for not being able to find or keep a job have to do with health problems, lack of education, or the jobs aren't paying enough. So again, a good opportunity for us to help these residents grow their household income, and all that comes with it. On the youth and education side, very interesting. Children go to schools all over the place. We've got, I don't even know how many schools there, at least 5 schools and then a number of other schools. And so we'll be working with the school district and with the education partners again to look at how can we actually help these children and where they are today to be able to move the needle on their education in school and out of school. You've got 3 children that are attending Head Start or Early Head Start, and 55% of the households have children under 18. So a lot of kids that try to court today. But when you look at the after school participation numbers, they're pretty low. So somewhere around 10% of children in households participating. We want that number way up. So we've got YMCA, Boys and Girls Club, and lots of other partners to help address that. Good news on the medical side, these numbers are relatively high compared to what we see. 94% have a primary care doctor. That's amazing. And in the 80s for folks who have regular dental care and regular eye care. That's good news. We can get to 100%. We can make sure that people who don't have access to that medical care can get that access. In terms of the groceries, access to fresh food is a big one. What was it? 72% use food stamps. Piggly Wiggly was recently closed. About 20% are going to churches and food pantries to get extra food. And 25% have a member of the household with a disability. So this is our lens that we need to be meeting people where they are. And thinking about helping them get enough food for their family, making sure that they have access to healthy vegetables. And for those that are going to the emergency room and when they have an issue, make sure that they get that primary care doctor and we get dental and eye care for everyone. On the neighborhood side of things, people want to see more community events, more art, more dance. Again, food came up with grocery store and farmers market being two amenities or new businesses that people want to see. And in terms of being able to be outside and be physically active, this a little bit more on the health side, but people do have health conditions or disabilities. We do want to make sure the neighborhood is safe. So that those who are healthy can be outside and be walking. So good news on the transportation side, you have a very walkable neighborhood, but the transit itself is limited in terms of the hours and the routes and where you can get to. Only 12% of folks said that transportation is a big barrier because a larger proportion of residents actually have cars in Trentport than they see in other places, or a neighbor has a car. And they're able to get a ride to grocery or doctor's appointments. And then on public safety side, we've asked folks what they would like to see: more police presence, better lighting, more cameras on site, especially as it gets redeveloped. We heard a lot about speeding on the street, so it's less about crime as much as it was about lighting and having it be, not as dark, and watching the speeding of people coming through. So that's going to need to be a topic of conversation as we think about redesigning Trentport. And about 30% of folks feel safe at night, and 52% during the day. So you see it falls off at night, and that darkness and lack of lighting came up. On the housing side, what we're going to be doing is going from 100% mixed income or 100% public housing to mixed income. So in order to do that, we have to replace all 218 units, and then we're going to add new affordable housing, and then we're going to add market rate and mix it all together in every block, in every phase, so that it's indistinguishable. That means we need to increase the number of units to more than double. So 437, that's our absolute minimum. And in order to do that, that typically means that the density does need to go up a little bit, but we're going to be working with the Historic Preservation Commission, with the city on the zoning, and with the neighborhood around to make sure that it feels like it fits into this historic neighborhood. We're also in the 100-year and 500-year floodplain. The floodplains have actually increased since the 2016 plan was done, so we need to be thinking about making sure that we're well above our base flood elevation and our freeboard requirements, so that anything in that those lower elevations is floodable and it's not occupied space. And I already mentioned in the historic district, so working carefully to make sure that we're thinking about how we design these buildings to be really high quality, to fit into the beautiful neighborhood with Tryon Palace and the homes that surround it. We pulled out all of the neighborhood initiatives from the past plan, and then we'll be updating that throughout the week. And just a little snapshot of what we'll be doing. The studio is going to operate in this space. You can see we've got a physical model in here that the community will participate, the residents will participate in helping us build it out. Today we had some technical stakeholder meetings. We have the board meeting. Tomorrow we'll be meeting with the Greater Duckingfield Resident Council. We'll have a meeting on health and wellness. jobs and job training, churches and faith leadership, and then at 6 p.m. the residents are gonna come over here, and we're gonna talk about transportation and food and all that. The housing authority is gonna provide transportation to the Trentport residents so that they can come here. Many of them maybe haven't seen this beautiful facility, and we want them to know that this is, you know, not that far away and available and accessible to them. On Wednesday morning at 9 a.m., we have a partners meeting. Again, that's open house style. Any of the partners are welcome to come see. We'll be producing drawings along the way. We'll have an education meeting and a safety meeting, and then we'll work all day Thursday, and we'll move over to the gymnasium and we'll present all of the ideas from the week to the residents and to the broader community at 6 p.m. So that's what we're gonna do. And yeah, any questions or thoughts about this week?
One other person at the city you needed to meet with, what was
George.
George?
Travis.
It's
Mary,
public work.
We forgot George. So. And they said they really need him, so the mayor worked with the city manager, well, we can steal him away for it. All right.
We would appreciate it.
Okay.
Tuesday, the meetings start at 9.
Yes, we have some stakeholder meetings that started.
Okay.
Redevelopment Commission and the Historic Planning, Historic Preservation Commission.
And please, churches, community groups, Sabrina's done a great job with her radio program and others, but please, you all, let's encourage as many people in the community to come Thursday night as possible. We want to be as transparent and as involved with the total community as possible. So please encourage any and all to come and participate. Because as Ms. Carr said, and you know, we want to make sure that the community is aware of what's going on, and but the only way we can do that is that they show up and ask questions and get involved. Because otherwise, what happens is they don't, and then they call the mayor's office and they're not involved, and we've given them an opportunity to be involved. So please, as many people as you all can, encourage them to come.
Thursday evening, and if it's a nonprofit or an organization or a church or anything like that, they could come 9 a.m. on Wednesday, but we're gonna be, you know, iteratively adding to things throughout the week. So to see the most of the content come Thursday evening. The Tuesday evening meeting is just for the Trentport residents. It's very important. You know, you all as board members are hearing its introduction today, but we want the Trentport residents to be the first ones to give their input on any design concepts tomorrow evening before we share that with the broader neighborhood community.
And last time we did this, we had a full house of the residents participating in that evening event, and we, you know, as Megan indicated, we're going to provide transportation, so that way those that don't have transportation over here, we're making sure, working with the city, having bus transportation. So some residents are able to drive, but to prevent them from having to walk, we're all providing transportation. And we're providing a meal as well. So that way they don't have to worry about getting back home and having to feed the kids, because we'll have something for them here as well.
Well, we hope you all will come back and visit us later in the week. There'll be lots of things to look at and react to.
Thank you, Megan.
Thank you.
You want to step back and?
I do, I was hoping you were gonna do that.
Okay, all right. Well, we appreciate our former chairman and board member, and Bishop, if you'll come over. And thank you for coming. Just want to say to you, thank you so much for your service. Thank you for all that you've done for the community. And we just have a small token of our appreciation to be able to share with you. And we hope that you will display it proudly and upfront of all of the awards that you have. And serving the city of New Bern, North Carolina, Mr. Ronald Scott. Scott served on the Board of Commissioners for the New Bern Housing Authority with honor and excellence from 2020 to 2024. Thank you for your outstanding service. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you much.
No, you know, say a few words.
Thank you all, to, Commissioner Bingle and, former Mayor Outlaw. I said yes to you all when I was saying yes to an assignment. And I realized that in the moment, but thank you all for the support. It's been awesome. When I say an assignment, that's exactly what it was. Just like when I took on the military assignment, it was a duty to serve, and I consider it an honor to have served. And this award, I don't put all my awards I won in the military away.
Okay.
This one I won't.
Seriously.
You get an award, you get it, and you keep moving.
Yes, sir.
But this right here, I'm proud to have served the community, to serve with such awesome people. Y'all helped me grow. Y'all have helped me grow. Sometimes you think you're in a place and you're good, but when you get in a service like this to the community, my community, our community, you learn some things about yourself. If you're not open to change, you're in trouble. Thank you all for helping me grow. I mean that from the center of my heart, not the bottom, from the center of my heart. Y'all helped me. Thank y'all for the support. Thank you for saying yes. I was able to sleep more after you said yes. Man, thank you for working with us. We finally heard you. It took us a minute because we had to get some other hearing out of our ears. You know what I'm saying? You've heard things for so long, but when that noise died down, we were able to hear what you were saying.
Bless you. Yes, ma'am. Keeps on cutting out.
Okay, so now we're gonna have our reports, and ladies, you also come to the front, so we can see you, please. We're gonna start with Ms. Tasha, and from, she's gonna do the Bern Powers report. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Okay. Thank you. I'm the property manager at Bern Powers. I'm at 98 occupancy rate. I have a tar rate of 98%. And we have 15 outstanding requests. We have a total of 9 police calls and a total of 0 emergency calls from the fire department. You said your occupancy rate was 98%. 94%. 94, okay. I do apologize for this.
Give me an idea on the work orders, what kind of work orders, is it just things that need to be fixed in each department or?
Okay, with these work orders, we've had a couple of plumbing issues. We have the dryers have been giving us a little bit of problems. But we're gonna try to get that straightened out. We may need a new dryer. We have the fire doors need to be replaced, a little bit of fire doors that need to be replaced, and the elevator. Yes, that elevator is giving us little problems here and there, but we are definitely on it. We definitely.
So, question with the work extending, is that something that has to? That would improve through.
So once the work orders come from the maintenance guys and Tasha, if it's over a certain expense, then they send it to me and I approve it. And that was one of the things I was talking about, when we look at the various report on the finance. Because as Tasha just indicated, we're constantly having problems with the elevators. And so just in those 2 months period of time, we spent $13,000 in the elevators. And I mean, it really seems like one or both go down every other month. And so, again, as we talked about earlier, as Ms. Carter asked, as we talk about the envelope of that building, it's aging. And we're starting to see the age of that building, as we see the age of Trent Court. And so, I mean, as an example, one weekend, we got the elevator, one of the elevators went down, and by the time the guy drove off 15 minutes later, both went down. So he got one back up, and then 15 minutes later, both went down. Well, as you can imagine, how many stories are it? It's 8 floors. So as you can imagine, the mayor started getting calls that the elevator's down. But literally, I mean, the guy came, fixed the elevator. 15 minutes later, both are down, and then they immediately start calling, and so we're working on it from that standpoint. But
And we have is it approved sub list that you
we
call?
have a vendor, a contracted vendor on speed dial. And that's the other thing, they come from Raleigh or Wilmington, so it's not like we have a local vendor, so so we gotta call somebody from Raleigh or Wilmington, and that takes a while for them to get here.
And they charge you from the minute they leave. and
Absolutely.
You're talking $200 and $300
Yeah.
out there. The services are terrible. Rich, I have a question on that. We're showing a credit that's 35,000 for credit. You see how it's listed here, the payments? It shows
Which,
on the Weaver Tower.
oh,
See how it says received credit, month unpaid credit? You got a positive number on unpaid balance. I mean, is that just a typo?
That's how it was reported last time too.
As a negative number?
Yeah.
The credits, I know when they pay, a lot of them pay ahead. They pay their accounts ahead. And the reason why they do that, so when they go in the hospital, a lot of them don't have only their names on their bank accounts. And so that's a lot of times they do, they're good at paying their rent and paying their.
yeah, but I got the 708 is the monthly credit amount. Commissioner Bingle, let me work with the accountant, because that 35,000 is a very large amount from a credit standpoint. So I hear what Tasha's saying, but for us to have received $35,000 in credit, I'm sure that's over a period of time. I'm gonna table that question to next month.
Sure.
And get you all a answer with working with the accounting department on that. Okay. Thank you, Tasha.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Okay, Ms. Pamela,
Yes, ma'am.
got Trent Court reports.
Good afternoon. Okay, my name is property manager of the court. We have a 99% occupancy rate. We have one vacancy. Yeah.
Amazing miracle. Good job.
We have one vacancy. Right now, we have a par rate of 102%. We have 9 for non-payment. We have 32 outstanding requests, which is for the annual inspection that we had at the end, the 27th and the 28th of February. So like when we go into a unit, it might be maybe a switch plate or something, we go ahead and do it, like the emergency ones. So we had 32 outstanding. Then we have the pending repair. The pending repair was we was waiting for a part. We're waiting for a part to repair, and then to repair, we had somebody coming out for the repair. 16 police reports, and 4 of those was other cities. Any question?
For those, I'm sorry, for those were.
Four was other, assist other agencies like, when DSS go out, the police will go with them. Fire, ambulance, the police will go with them, stuff like that.
So, and again, probably not for you more for resident. So, again, maybe I'm a little bit to bring up on the science between what is received, we know it's charged, then whether that is received, well, obviously, you got a month unpaid, but the unpaid balance with this is a good bit smaller than last.
Yeah, we wrote all,
We wrote it all.
yeah, if you all remember, that
I've got a
was,
note here.
yeah, that was 23 and 24.
So
So-
70,000.
Yeah, so that was written off, and so all you have now is for the fiscal year. The good thing is our fiscal year runs on a calendar, so what you're showing now is just for this fiscal year.
I noted that, I just didn't write it down.
Yeah, no, that's fine, that's fine.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, our Ross program report is sent.
Hi, everyone. I'm Cynthia Hagan, Rock Program Coordinator. For case management, that is up to date and we are at 103%. I'm still doing follow-up assessment with students. HUD needs assessments, they are being completed, but there's no London report of belongingness for isolation. 63% for community partnership resource engagement. Health and wellness is up to date. Child care for Craven County against us is no waiting list. Transportation is up to date. Housing, home ownership, that we're still waiting for. Plastic diamonds, I found they're not scheduling anything right now. Current presentation and workshops, we had a digitally included information session, and we had 18 attendance for that class.
Speak a little bit about that partnership, simply if you would, with NC State and East Carolina.
Okay. With the NC State University Digital Inclusion Partnership, we are also connected with East Carolina Council. And so we're partnering with them also, and they're going to create classes for residents to come out at the numerous times to participate and be able to connect with the internet. Right now, they have Optimum, I think it's what. So they're trying to be able to get Spectrum or a better internet service to provide faster and internet service to them. And also we have a job bulletin that's coming up through NC Works. And that's gonna be on March 19th from 10 to 2:30 p.m. and lunch is provided. We also have a financial literacy WebEx session for the residents and reentry program counselor as needed whenever they request it. And I'm still connecting with the residents as far as health insurance, and that's going pretty good.
And the reason that I wanted simply to show the value of what we're doing with the listening session, because of what we did with the previous listening session, NC State and East Carolina were a part of that. And because of the work that came out of those listening sessions, they reached out to us after that because they got the relationship with NC State and wanted to make sure that they came and targeted our residents because of the concern for low-income communities being disconnected with internet services and the digital divide. And that's one of the things they're addressing. So that's why I wanted to highlight that they were intentional about them meeting directly on site with the residents.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so I don't think we have any resolutions, correct?
No, ma'am.
Do we need to go into closed session?
No, ma'am.
So if there's nothing else, I will take a motion to adjourn.
Motion,
Oh, sure.
expectation from the chair on this.
Oh,
So, what would be? There's much as I can.
so I took a picture of, the agenda and let me try to pull that up. I would love for us, the expectation is for you to attend all that you can. We understand that, you have other obligations, but if you can, attend, the more you can, the more they see our face.
Sure.
Greater numbers, not just from the community organizations that we have invited, but from us as well.
Okay, so let's talk about tomorrow. You got
Okay,
9 o'clock, is that the start time?
yes.
Is, Megan, is the, all the things and bullet points, it does not have a time slot, is all of that pretty much at 9 o'clock and you're just going in order, or do all those have different times?
So we have a number of smaller groups of stakeholders, so we're meeting with the redevelopment commission and the historic preservation commission. Those are more technical meetings, they're certainly welcome to be there, but
That's
they're.
the 9 o'clock.
Yeah, 9 o'clock is the, would be the APC, correct? And then it's the CNI, or the preservation commission is at 11:30.
Preservation is at
11:30, okay, and so redevelopment's at 9. Is that correct?
So I want to interject with what Megan said. Even though those are technical in nature, I want to kind of go back to what Janelle was saying. And I think this was one of the parting comments of Dana, we want the board with our community partners. So as my mentor taught me in 1986 when I got into the business, boards bring power and influence. And my job is to carry out those policies that you all set. So these are your peers in this community. And so the more you all are as engaged in those meetings, even though they're technical in nature, when we go before HBC, you all are not necessarily there, but them knowing that you all are hearing and advocating for what we need, I think is important. It's because, they're gonna see me, but tomorrow or this week in these type of sessions, as indicated, I know you're busy, but as you have time available, please take some time out, because even just being a part of those discussions with HPC and the redevelopment commission, they're becoming strategic partners naturally with us and what we're doing, but you all sitting at the table with them would go a long way.
And to be clear, they won't be formal presentations or formal meetings, they're gonna be roll up the sleeves, we'll be asking a lot of questions and understanding what's possible, working together, so they're kind of working sessions.
Agave, can we get a copy? Can everybody have copies of it before we leave?
She sent it to everyone. Didn't you all get an email? Did all board members?
Yeah,
Just the schedule will be really helpful. We think, I wonder, can we?
You got it early up front, but it'll be good at the top of your inbox.
Can we, here, it's good.
Do they have a copy machine?
They do.
Thank you.
I don't know if we have it for everybody, but it's like. Oh, we're done. Okay,
Got
you're
it.
here. Do we sign the revenue?
Oh, is it?
Thank you. Perfect. Thank you.
Yes, yeah, this is really.
Mayor, anything from your schedule before we adjourn? We appreciate your attendance, but good work. Keep it going.
Got a lot of work ahead of us, but they're making great progress.
And I think it's also important that, we talk about this all the time, but the city, the mayor's been very engaged with us as we go forward, but the key component to this is a true partnership between the housing authority and the city as we go forward with this application this coming fall. So it's not one without the other. This is, we are lockstep with the city and us as we move forward. And so, you know, so when we talk about the CNI from the housing authority standpoint, we're really talking about the city of New Bern and the housing authority in concert with what we're trying to accomplish. So it's not just one entity, we're doing this together. We're equal partners.
Here's an extra one.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. You have any other questions? Are we good? It's gonna be a fun week. I've learned a lot, at the last one. I think it's great, also to be able to, for the residents, most of all, to see that we are here. If there are no other questions. Second. Question. All in favor? Any opposed? Speak loud. Thank you. Thank you. That's a great one.